Bitter criticism. Today we have some articles from Pepe Escobar Telegram again. So Pepe Escobar is the only worker we have in geopolitics. Looks like Timur Fomenko is on vacations. He's on holidays. Bradley Blankenship is also in holidays. But you know, despite all of this, I just like, my favorite is still Timur Fomenko because it's an ontological opinion, understand? It's not a Tommy. It's not a it's not about the number, understand? It's about quality. It's not about the frequency of the publications, understand? So yeah. Well, and I saved all of this. I saved in an archive on the notebook, and then I got this and I saved and passed it to the cell phone. And all this news is from 2 days ago. You will see. And it goes like this. February 17th, 2024, they finally killed Navanly. The creation of this news item was suspiciously well timed. But it must pay for murder of Navanly, say world leaders. Telegraph. Navanly. I had zero idea about what is Navanly. Just 1 second. Tommy. And well, Putin must pay for murder on Navanly, say world leaders. Zero idea. Speaking at the White House, Joe Biden said the Russian president was responsible for the death of Mr. Navalny. So it was a guy, Mr. Navalny. While David Cameron, the foreign secretary, said Putin's Russia fabricated charges against him, poisoned him, sent him to an archaic penal colony, and now he has tragically died. Putin should, quote, Putin should be accountable for what has happened. No one should doubt the dreadful nature of his regime. What? Who was this guy? Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, said Mr. Navalny had been slowly murdered by President Putin and his regime, who fear nothing more than dissent from their own people. Well, I forgot the name of this journalist. What about this WikiLeaks journalist? I forgot his name. Yeah, what about him? Mr. Biden, who in 2021 promised devastating consequences should Mr. Navalny die in jail, said he was considering a whole number of opinions, in response, I forgot the name of this guy from 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 WikiLeaks. Assange, yeah. What about Assange? Assange is alive. He urged Republican lawmakers to pass a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine that has still, after his approval in the Senate, saying history is watching. Tommy. Just a second. Tommy's such a beast, you know? What a dumb beast. Anyway, he urged Republican lawmakers to pass, history is watching. Asked whether Mr. Navalny's death would convince Republican leaders to drop their opposition to the bill. He said, I hope to God it helps. Mr. Navalny's wife urged the international community to punish Putin for her husband's death, as she received the news shortly before taking the floor at a conference in Munich. Yeah, what a sad Western end. Some time ago, I was considering to move to Germany, to Munich, but with conference like this, I don't think so. Munich is kind of garbage. Daniel McAdams, UTC, February 17th. This is like a blog, I guess. What an amazing coincidence that Navalny's wife happened to be attending the Munich Security Conference this weekend, giving her a world stage just as the right moment. Wow. Max Sedom, February 16th, 2024. Navalny's wife, Julia, at the Munich Security Conference. Quote, "It is true, I want Putin, his entourage, Putin's friends and his government to know they will be held responsible for what they have done to our country, my family and my husband. And that day will come very soon." And that video. Navalny's wife, grieving widow, broke down in tears in Munich. Nah, she smiled, held a speech and was showered in applause. Let me guess, she's the new opposition leader. The story writes itself. This is like a blog, but breaking. Well, I don't know who is Navalny. This article is not explaining who was this guy. Let's remind ourselves to a few issues which showed that nothing in the alleged Navalny poisoning case was as it seemed. February 16, 2024. The most bizarre part of Navalny's story is when he got poisoned and a mysterious British citizen, Maria Pevchik, appeared out of nowhere. Nobody knew who she was. She collected the water bottles allegedly containing Novichok and brought them to Germany. It was revealed that she had been secretly running the investigative department of Nevenly's organization all along. The funny thing is nobody knew about her before the poisoning happened. And things only got worse from there on for Alexei. Coma, slow recovery, arrest, prison, and death. Around Anglos never relax. There are many other details that made the alleged poisoning of Alexei Navalny a rather curious issue. And well, I don't care about this. Nobody's saying who he was. He is. Was he a journalist? What the hell he was? Oh, he was an activist. Look, there are many other details that make the alleged poisoning of Alexei Navalny a rather curious issue. On 20 August 2020, Russian opposition figure and anti-corruption activist Alexei Navalny was poisoned with Novichok nerve agent and was hospitalized in serious condition during a flight from Tomsk to Moscow. He became ill and was taken to a hospital in Omsk after an emergency landing there and put in a coma. He was evacuated to the Charité hospital in Berlin, Germany. 2 days later, the use of the nerve agent was confirmed by 5 organizations for the prohibition of chemical weapons, OPCW, as certified laboratories. Look at the date of the alleged poisoning, August 20, 2020, and compare draft report of the OPCW on the implementation of the Convention of the Prohibition of the Development, Production, Stockpiling and Use of Chemical Weapons, and on their destruction in 2020. At the request of Germany, on 20 August 2020, the Secretariat deployed a team to perform a technical assistance visit, TAV, in relation to the suspected poisoning of a Russian citizen. The TAV was restricted to the collection of biomedical samples. Well, what a crazy, stupid article. Who the hell was this fucking guy? What a stupid article. What a mumbo jumbo. There's nothing written here. Who cares about this fucking loser? His wife also must die because she's a fucking loser too. There's nothing here. He did nothing in life. Well, he died just too late. He died too late. Tommy. Espérate, Tommy. And we have another article here. We hope there's not so bad written, because who was this fucking guy? Died in 2020. Oh, what a stupid article. The age of Zun Wang, the merciless grip of geostrategic logic. Big surge. 13 February 2024. Pieces moving. Note, I apologize in advance for the potentially rambling nature of this piece, which is something of a stream of consciousness, just strategic meditation. It's possible that this is too abstract to be interesting. If so, please berate me in the comments. I am a greater lover of chess, while no more than a middling player myself. I am endlessly entertained by my seemingly countless variations and strategic contrivances that the world great players can create from that same familiar beginning. Despite being an old game, the rules that we know today emerged in 15th century Europe. It has resisted the enormous amount of computing power thrown 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 at in recent years. Well, you got enough of Tommy. You got enough from the horizon from Tommy. And here we go from another view. This view is better because you can see the girls playing. Yeah. So talking about chess, the rules. I am a great lover of chess, while no more than a middling player myself. While no more than a middling player myself. Well, I know how to play chess, but chess is creative. It's just like soccer or basketball, but it's too tough. Chess is a too tough sport. You will have brain pain because it's a battle. It's a brain battle, and it's kind of. People used to say that chess is good for life, but the truth is, it's just a little chess. Just a little chess because of the mechanics. But the truth is, life is more complex than chess. Life, you have to interpret. You have to interpret. You have the most important thing in life is interpretation. And chess doesn't have these interpretation skills. You don't have to. Anyway. In chess, you don't need to interpret things. So, while no more than a middling player myself, I'm endlessly entertained by the seemingly countless variations and strategic contrivances that the world's great players can create from that same familiar beginning. Despite being an old game, the rules that we know today emerged in 15th century Europe. It has resisted the enormous amount of computing power thrown at it in recent years. Even with powerful modern chess engines, it remains an unsolved game, open to experimentation and further study and contemplation. So, an article about chess. This is also from Pepe Escobar Telegram. I'm not understanding why all the chess. One chess adage which I learned early at my childhood chess club is that one of the biggest advantages in chess is to have the next move, a sort of cautionary lesson to avoid being overly cocky before your opponent has a chance to respond. A little down the road, however, you learn about a concept that inverts and perverts this aphorism, something which we call Zugzwang. Zugzwang, a German word that literally means Move compulsion refers to any situation in chess where a player is forced to make a move that weakens his position, such as a kind that is backed into a corner to escape from check. Each time he moves out of check, he moves himself closer to checkmate. Yeah, I know. But, you know, in real life, with real people, in real circumstances, there's more, you know? There's more. It's culture. Culture is not based on the same logic rules of chess, you know? So, chess is a poor game compared to life, because life had unexpected ethical consequences. In life, I will tell you about myself. Life, it has poisonous situations that are unexpected to people. So life can be even more toxic than chess, you know? I mean, people are living their lives in their culture, but suddenly you change the principles, you know? You can change the ethical principles. So people are living their lives, and suddenly you can poison people because of ethics, you know? If you have a stronger ethic, you will poison masses, you know? You will poison a collective. You will poison anyway. You can poison people, yeah, just because they are bad, you know? That's it. So they can do whatever they do, and you just keep in silence. In order to achieve things in life, in a societal life, you can only make your ethical choices and remain in silence, and then suddenly people will die because they will poison themselves, you know? That's it. Well, I say nothing, but yeah. So in real life, things are more complex. Of course, there's legal stuff, but those legal stuff, especially in global south, they are relative. But anyway, baked into a corner to escape from check. Each time he moves out of check, he moves himself closer to checkmate. More simply put, Zugzwang refers to a situation where there are no good moves available, but it is your turn. It is your turn. If you find yourself staring at the board, thinking that you should prefer to simply skip your turn, you are in Zugzwang. But of course, you cannot skip your turn. You have to move, and no matter what you move, no matter what move you choose, your position gets worse. Upgrade to pay. That I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, this is like a propaganda from the original site. This idea of having no good opinion options while being compelled to act has become a motive in the unfolding era of geopolitical flux. Actors around the globe find themselves in situations where they are compelled to act in the absence of good solutions. Zbigniew Brzezinski famously wrote of geopolitics and analogous to a chessboard. If that is indeed the case, there there now comes a time for choosing which pieces to save. Jerusalem. It is almost impossible to find a dispassionate analysis of the Israeli-Arab conflict, simply because it is directly upon a concatenation of ethno-religious fault lines. Palestinians are the object of concern for many of the world's nearly 2 million Muslims. Palestinians are the object of concern for many of the world's nearly 2 billion Muslims, particularly in the Arab world, who tend to view Gaza's suffering and humiliation as their own. Israel, on the other hand, is a subject of rare agreement between American evangelicals who believe that the nation-state of Israel has relevance to Armageddon and the fate of Christianity, and the more secular American governing bloc, which treats Israel as an American outpost in the Levant. To this, we can add the emerging religion of anti-colonialism, which views Palestine as something like the next great liberation project, akin to ending apartheid in South Africa or Gandhi's campaign for Indian independence. I have no idea about evangelics and Israel, and I'm fine like that. I have zero interest about this American religions. For me, they are crazy. Like, say, the Mormons guys, they have a lot of money. They pay a lot of propaganda on social media, but they believe they will have a planet for their own, I guess, you know. And I just feel sad about the young people who have to came in periphery in South America. I just warning them that Brazil is not so safe than Chile, and that's it. I just feel bad about the young people walking on the street, saying hello. My goal is not to convince any of the aforementioned people that their views are wrong per se. Instead, I would like to argue that despite these many powerful emotional religious currents, much of the Israeli-Arab conflict can be understood in fairly mundane geopolitical terms, despite the enormous psychological stakes that billions of people have in the subject matter. It still unfolds itself to a relatively dispassionate analysis. The root of the problems lay in the particular nature of the Israeli state. Israel, I don't care about this article. I don't care about Israel, you know. I will repeat this today. I guess anyone can do nothing about Israel power. Tommy. Because when we do anything, when we do anything in society, like paying an electric bill, for example, we are using the financial system, and just like that, we are supporting Israel. We can stop supporting Israel, because there are, I will not say all the Jews are Zionists, but some Jews are Zionists, and a fraction of these Jews, they have financial power inside the system, understand? So there's Zionist enough people to give money to Israel forever. And just like they say, it's a strategic region in the Levant. So this is a pretty large article about Jews. Oh yeah, I guess Pepe Escobar, he just did what his promise, and he made a discussion about Jews, about Israel, but it's not my interest. I know Leonardo Tuch asked him about this question, but I don't care. In my opinion, is a matter of all this is a matter of the economical system, of capitalism. Jews control capitalism, and we all finance, the whole world finance Israel. That's the truth in my opinion, but I'm not reading all this. This is a huge article about Israel. I'm not see when it ends. Now it's talking about Tucker Carlson. Well, what a bad day for reading articles. I just want to read Timur Fomenko. Where's Timur Fomenko? Come back, Timur Fomenko. And now Ukraine. I'm going to the end. I guess I will do yoga the whole morning. And then we have the other article from yesterday. This is more interesting. Transcending Adivka, Pepe Escobar. Yeah. I'm sorry, Pepe, but I will have to do this as a critic now, as criticism, because criticism against our friend Pepe Escobar, because I didn't like the Jews article. I have zero interest on Israel. To me, Israel is capitalism. I try to fight capitalism, but I'm all alone trying this. I'm the only communist in the world. You can poison me. No, I mean, certainly you can, but you don't know where I am. Just Tommy. So now we're gonna read a real article from Pepe Escobar, the second best geopolitical analyst in the world in 2004. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this in the chart here. This is 2004, 2024. Yeah, suddenly Tommy. Yeah, Tommy is absolutely boring here. Pepe Escobar, February 17, 2024. Of course, the proxy war in Ukraine won't end with Advinka and the battle across the Donbass, the Donetsk foothills, nearly a decade old, will continue. Strategic Culture .su. I wonder where is Swazilandia. All your C6 sailors, they are rowing home your empty-handed armies and going home. Bob Dylan, it's all over now, baby blue. It's all over now. Avdinka, the name sounds like an incantation. Yeah, like the Balsevo or Baksmut. The incantation summons the figure of Cauldron as it stands and at its all moving and lightning speed. At lightning speed, it takes only 2 kilometers for the cauldron to be closed. Virtually all roads and muddy trails are under massive Russian fire control. There may be up to 6,000 armed forces of Ukraine, FAU soldiers left. They have nowhere to go. They are already in or are going straight to hell. The butcher Surku, who has just been appointed commander-in-chief of the AFU, amid a nasty dogfight in Kiev, immediately got himself a fresh cauldron. All habits die hard. We have a noisy truck here, unfortunately. Noisy truck. I'll have to run now. The moral and psychological state of a few fighters is in tatters. Azov Battalion, neo-Nazis. What the hell? Terrible noisy. Terrible truck over there. It was a blue one. The moral and psychological state of a few fighters. It is in tatters. Azov Battalion, neo-Nazis are being decimated by massive artillery, FPVs and FABs. Still, a few generals are setting up the PR stage for another victory. A replay of Ilovaisk and Debaltsevo, even as the actual retreat, evacuation of extraction will proceed through the corridors of hell. In fact, the only player who has successfully extracted himself from hell just in time was General Zaluzny, who quote Dylan, strike another match to start anew. The axis of resistance and a Slavic mirror during my vertiginous journey across Donbass only a few days ago. Adivka, the incantation, was omnipresent. At the meeting in a secret compound plunged in darkness in the western outskirts of Donetsk. Two top commanders of Orthodox Christian battalions, while discussing tactics, noted that the fall of Avdiivka would be a matter of days, maximum weeks. The symbology is quite transcendental. Kiev has been fortifying Avdiivka non-stop for nearly 10 years, essentially to keep shelling civilians in Donetsk and other parts of Donbass with impunity ad infinitum. Donetsk remains extremely vulnerable and the shelling persists. The strength, resilience and faith of the residents of the historic mining town and the surrounding countryside are deeply moving. In a very special conversation with Alexander Dugin, we both made it clear, directly and indirectly, that the working classes of Novorossiya and our spiritual brothers of the oppressed in Palestine and Yemen, yes, the axis of resistance in West Asia is mirrored by Slavic axis of resistance in the black soil of the steppes. As much as Russia may have drawn to a civilizational war against the collective West, that is also a spiritual war. The proxy war by the hegemon against Russia in Ukraine is as much a geopolitical gamble as a war of Western nihilism against Russian orthodoxy. I'm sorry, but I have to complain about this Western nihilism. Well, Western nihilism. I will say that nihilism is a whole field, you know? Nihilism, it is a whole field. It's bigger than religions, you know? Nihilism is bigger than God. That's what I say. Nihilism is the reality, is the only reality, and inside reality we have this desperation of believing in something. That's it. Nihilism is everything. I did mention the parallel between Orthodox Christianity and Shiism. Top to a top commander, he may have been the muse by, but he definitely got the message. After all, he must have instinctively noticed it was the reject, harassed, and bombed in Orthodox Christianity and Islam who have reawakened the Orthodox and Islamic civilizations for a transcendental war of survival, supported by faith. Oh, I have no more time. Way beyond the Advinka incantation, a sort of catalyst of all these times of trouble, as Mother Mary of God eventually comes offering solace. What struck me in this vertiginous journey in Donbass is almighty people power. Civilians are the true heroes of the full liberation of Novorossiya, as much as the people scattered across greater Syria, encompassing Palestine, Syria and Lebanon, Iraq and Yemen. These are the souls who have endured a hell on earth much more toxic and much longer than a Vinca cauldron, since Zionism and its subsequent scatological garrison settler colonial offspring took over the Holy Land. Oh, I can read this, yeah. I will run fast now. The people of Novorossiya, as much as Yemeni Houthis, have faith is imprinted in their DNA. Those deeply committed commanders and soldiers that I met in Novorossiya, close to the front lines, mirror the popular consensus. Gamblers on the highway of hope. For a baby boomer Westerner, it's inevitable to refer to Dylan when we are back to the road. The highway, it's for gamblers. Better use your sense. Somehow the ultimate gamblers across the black soil of Novorossiya are these volunteers, contract signed soldiers who summon the power of unbreakable faith to defend their land. As for those pawns in the Western game who will perish or surrender, when the cauldron is boiling to the max, it's a case of the sky the sky too is failing under you. Shelley intuitively understood that we all rebel against oblivion. Just 1 second. We all rebel against oblivion, to which that condemns us. Yet this rebellion can follow two completely different roadmaps. The man intoxicated with power wrecks everything before him, and is wrecked in turn. That's the fate of the current empire of lies. Then there's the road followed by the poet or spiritual warrior whose soul is the Aeolian harp, summoning vast, unseen, miraculous forces. Of course, the proxy war in Ukraine won't end with Avdiivka, and the battle across Donetsk foothills, nearly a decade old, will continue. there will be more PR terror attacks. The civilian plight may be prolonged for quite a while, but what's already crystal clear is that any super rules-based order chess player who dreams of defeating the Russian soul on thousands years old Russian lands inexorably doomed. The views of individual contributors do not necessarily represent those of the Strategic Culture Foundation. Yeah. So, well, and now I just will release I will do my yoga later, but it's time for releasing the dogs. Yeah, and the dogs are free now. Run for your lives, Tommy's free. I have a play with Tommy. I discovered this game with him. Look, Tommy. Because Tommy is a pit bull, so he likes to fight. I hope Tommy will back here to play a little more. Tommy! Tommy! Tommy, venga! Tommy! Venga, venga, venga! Tommy! Venga! Tommy, venga, venga! Tommy! So yeah, Tommy likes to play fighting. You cannot see there, but there are Tommy. Look, that's the kind of play Tommy likes to play. Thankfully, Tommy is not going over there. Is not running out of here.